What happens when you're always available for everyone? When your time, your energy, your emotions are on call like a service to those around you? Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology, might say you're not just being kind, you're slowly abandoning your own soul. Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." But how can you do that when you're constantly showing up as what others need you to be? You answer the calls, you reply to the messages, you show up to help. But inside, there's a quiet voice asking, "When is it my turn?" In Jungian terms, this is not just burnout, it's a betrayal of the self. Because constantly being available isn't a sign of strength, it's often a symptom of a deeper wound. A need to be liked, accepted, or even loved. And while that might earn temporary approval, it costs you your authenticity. You see, Jung believed that real growth begins with individuation, the process of becoming your true self, separate from the masks you wear for others. And that process demands space, silence, saying no. But here's the hook. When you always say yes to others, you say no to yourself. Your dreams shrink, your voice softens, your edges blur, and slowly, you disappear. So, what if you started doing the opposite? What if, instead of reacting to every need around you, you paused and asked yourself, "Is this who I really am? Or is this just who I've learned to be?" Jung taught that the unconscious, our shadow, holds the parts of ourselves we repress, including our resentment, our exhaustion, our hidden desire to scream, "I need time for me." Ignoring those parts doesn't make you virtuous, it makes you divided. And no one can be whole while living a divided life. You are not a machine built for constant availability. You are a human being with depth, potential, and a sacred right to your own space. Because the truth is, when you're always available for everyone, you become invisible to yourself. So maybe, just maybe, the most powerful act of self-love is the courage to become unavailable. Not because you don't care, but because you finally do about yourself. What happens when you finally take a step back? When you stop being the emotional sponge, the fixer, the one who always says, "I'm here if you need me." There's a moment of discomfort, maybe even guilt, but underneath it all, there's relief. A breath you haven't taken in years. Carl Jung believed that the psyche is not here to please others. It's here to become whole. And wholeness can't exist where boundaries are broken, where your identity is based on how well you serve everyone else. When you become everyone's emotional lifeline, you're not connecting, you're overextending, you're dissolving. There's a subtle danger in being too available. You become predictable, easy, taken for granted. And Jung would say, anything too accessible loses its sacredness, including you. But when you reclaim your time, when you say, "No, not right now," something powerful happens. You're no longer reacting, you're choosing. And in that choice, you begin to rediscover who you are beneath the people-pleasing patterns. Jung talked about the persona, the social mask we wear to survive. Always being available? That's a persona. It's not you, it's who you thought you had to be in order to be accepted. But you don't owe the world your constant presence, you owe yourself your authentic becoming. When you say no, you're not rejecting others, you're respecting yourself. And that's when the transformation begins. You stop abandoning yourself for scraps of validation. You stop apologizing for needing time, rest, silence. You begin to live. Jung believed that the soul speaks in symbols. So here's one. A door. Closed. Firm. Not locked, but not open to just anyone at any time. That door is your boundary. And every time you honor it, you tell your psyche, "I matter." And you do. Because being available to yourself is the beginning of everything. So next time someone reaches for you at your own expense, ask yourself, am I being kind or am I disappearing again? Only one of those choices leads to wholeness.